Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
Paul Gaye is here to talk to us about the Gambia Institute of Chartered Accountants, JICA. Last week, towards the end of the week, the headline was that he had been impeached by his association. This morning on at least one of the newspapers, The Standard, we read, JICA president rejects claim of removal. So what's going on at JICA? Paul, welcome back.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, and thanks for having me here.
Actually, it was our feast day yesterday, huh? The feast day of Saints Peter and Paul. And here you have in the studio Peter and Paul in conversation.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but seriously, what's going on with your organization, the Gambia Institute of Chartered Accountants?
Well, it is very unfortunate that our noble profession is being brought into disrepute by a small group of individuals who are currently about to go through the process of a disciplinary hearing themselves. And to avoid that process taking place, it's easier for them to cause a lot of disruption and mislead the public and then say, well, the president is now to be removed. Let me elaborate on that.
Yeah, sure.
6 of them are council members, members of the board, of which 2 of them were caught red-handed in the process of compromising the process of issuing audit practice certificates. They never disclosed for over a year that they have close friends and work colleagues who applied for an audit practice certificate. And these individuals were pushing to chair the evaluation process until it was revealed by an independent internal committee that they were associated with those individuals. And looking at it, the individuals they were even supporting have no audit experience, and they were not even eligible for an audit PC. And against Section 14 of the Financial Reporting Act, which governs the Gambia Institute of Chartered Accountants, they should have disclosed that. And as a result, they had to go for a suspension until we have an annual general meeting. And then all of them, those 6, undermined the process within the council to have the existing registered audit firms to regularize their registration status. Because the Act states that every registered audit firm must have 2 partners. And unfortunately, we have up to 4 of our registered audit firms currently practicing with only 1 partner, which is extremely dangerous. Because as auditors, we go through hundreds, if not thousands of pages of documents made up of both qualitative and quantitative data to analyze. And it makes perfect sense that there should be 2 partners in every firm, so that whatever one partner misses, the other partner will pick it up.
That makes
sense. And
sense.
it can even go further to have a 3rd partner who is called the external quality control reviewer. These firms only have 1. And to regularize that, it brought war into our profession. And they infiltrated some of our council members to ensure that the regularization process doesn't take place. And in saying that, even 2 of the council members are practicing auditors with only 1 partner in their firm. So you can see why they're fighting tooth and nail. And together with a group of other friends, they convened an EGM on Saturday the 24th, and even those friends
EGM, Emergency
General Meeting, yes. And even those individuals are illegally issuing audit reports, signing audited financial statements when they are not registered themselves, getting clients from these foreign exchange bureaus, issuing their their audit reports. So you can see that there is a lot going on, and to avoid that cleanup process, it's easier for them to illegally convene an EJM to remove the president. And let me tell you something. According to our act,
Yes.
the Financial Reporting Act 2013,
Yes.
Section 20, subsection 2B, there cannot be a council meeting if the president and the secretary of the council does not convene that meeting. And the breakaway 6 council members went on their own to convene a council meeting on the 24th of April and again on the 1st of June 2025. And it was on the 1st of June meeting that they decided to have an EJM. And everything I'm saying here, I have the documentary evidence to issue it and
To back up
display it
everything
and to back it up whenever it is necessary. So a council meeting illegally convened on the 1st of June cannot call for an EJM. And as we speak, these 6 council members are subject of a disciplinary hearing through directive that we received from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, who are the custodians of the act. Because the implications of people being issued with an audit practice certificate is serious, because one can write an audit report, no matter how valid it is. Once it is detected that there is an illegality in the process, you can challenge that audit report and throw it out. And the further implication is that some of these firms, they audit financial institutions like banks, insurance companies, and these FX bureaus. And for example, if it is in the case of a bank, that the auditor's registration was not properly regularized, the corresponding bank abroad can stop dealing with that particular bank here. If it is a reinsurance company, the same. And these things put together, they can put one financial institution into a standstill. And furthermore, if that particular bank has its parent company or parent body registered with a stock exchange anywhere in the sub-region, that's an additional problem. So we cannot allow our profession to be brought into disrepute to the point whereby audit reports issued by a Gambian registered auditor cannot be taken seriously. So it's an extremely serious matter, and that's why they are going all out, misleading the whole public, the whole profession. But let me assure you that it is a small group of people. The vast majority of our members, over 100 of them, they are highly professional, they follow the law, and are not associated with this. So the very few individuals who are involved are causing this disruption, obviously aiming to tarnish my character, which they cannot do, and the profession will regulate itself, and we will resolve this problem very quickly.
Small group of people, you know, as you describe them, but seemingly powerful group of people, because just based on what you read in the press, you've been impeached.
Well, you impeach somebody whose conduct, whose character, ethical behavior can be questioned. Let me give you a rundown of my track record over the past year that I have been in office. We conducted several CPDs last year.
What's CPD?
That's Continuous Professional Development Program, in which it is mandatory for every chartered accountant to undergo. Ever since the establishment of JICA, CPDs were never conducted. JICA members will log online to join other professional accountancy organizations like the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and so on to participate in their CPDs online, but we've never had our own. We had 3 last year. We are currently about to become a member of the International Federation of Accountants. Every country with an accountancy body like us, JICA, you must belong to IFAC to get global recognition. Gambia is, at the moment, not yet recognized. Something that should have been done for over maybe 37 years when the first act, the Gambia Association of Accountant Act, was promulgated into law.
Oh, wow.
And then repealed by or replaced by the Financial Reporting Act of 2013, which established the Gambia Institute of Chartered Accountants. So we are not members of IFAC, and now we are to become a member of IFAC, all within the past 1 year. And we are currently working with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria to have our own syllabus. Yet still, something that was long overdue for over 37 years. Within the past year, we are making progress to have our own exam syllabus so that Gambia can issue its own globally recognized chartered accountancy qualification. And over the past year, we inherited a lot of liabilities. We've settled all. We no longer have day-to-day cash issues. The reserves, cash reserves, have been tripled all over the past year. There is financial discipline within the secretariat now, although very tough to instill, but it is extremely better than what it used to be. Mm-hmm. And there is public trust and integrity of the profession, within the profession, except this unfortunate news that these small group of individuals, unfortunately council members, have created. So somebody with such a good track record, I think it would be insane to say you'll impeach such an individual. Completely insane. And that's my record. Unless the individual who wants to impeach, or those who are behind it, they have a very low benchmark to peg themselves. But anybody you ask, I mean, JICA has never been in such a good position than it is at the moment under my leadership. And that is absolutely documented.
Impeachment does not always mean removal. Impeachment could just be, something to say, well, the president has not acted in a manner expected of, his high office. And basically, you're then expected to maybe apologize and then move on. This group of 6, do they interpret their action as needing to be replaced immediately by someone else? And if yes, what's the process of getting a JICA president?
Well, to start with, they don't even have the power and the authority to do what they call impeachment. They just don't. Because every action that I have taken, every correspondence, I quote the act or the relevant section of the act very clearly. Ever since I have been in office, there is no individual who can say Paul Gaye broke the law during the past year. And simply because they just don't want to be regulated, and they know that they have breached so many aspects of the law, and it's easier for them to get Paul Gaye out. Simply because if you read the Standard newspaper this morning, the editor, they made their own due diligence, contacted the Ministry of Finance, who are aware of the situation, and they said that they have not received a single allegation against Paul Gaye. And I am the recognized person by the majority of our members and by the ministry, because an illegal EGM has no power to remove anybody, none whatsoever. And to make it very clear, one other reason is that every council member is supposed to be responsible for tabling policy documents for the profession to move on. And each of them have failed time and time again to produce the necessary working documents required of them. So all of them put together, it's easier to say, oh, let's create noise, mislead the whole public, cause much confusion, and that's what they have done. And but that is not the reality. The vast majority of our members, they know the facts. We have our internal communication platform. They've seen all the documents, including the directive signed by the minister himself, dated on the 28th of May, 2025, that these 6 individuals should go for disciplinary hearing. So somebody subject to disciplinary hearing cannot impeach somebody else. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
Okay, when you say the majority of members recognize you, is there a rival president? Is there somebody else claiming to be the new president of JICA or JICA?
There is none. There is none. Unless there is somebody not coming out in public, but there is none.
Okay.
And moreover, the funny thing about their EGM was that the 6 individuals who are placed on disciplinary hearing, they should continue to serve in the council. But the president who reported the matter and wants the profession to be regulated should be out. So you can say that the two doesn't go together. It's not logical. Mm-hmm. Official directive that they should be going through a disciplinary hearing, but according to them, their own illegal EJM, they should stay in office. But the law-abiding, legitimate president should leave office. I think that's insane.
What does the Act say about somebody who is a member of council but is subject to a disciplinary hearing? Can they continue to sit on council meetings?
No, they cannot. And just to give you some more information, one of the 6 is currently suspended by the government agency that he's working for. And he's being investigated for allegations of fraud, a council member. So you cannot be investigated for fraud and be sitting on the board of a regulatory body of an accountancy and audit organization. It doesn't make sense. And then also 2 of them, their term of office expired in January of this year, because every council member should serve a maximum of 6 years, 3 years, 2 terms of 3 years each. They serve 6 years already, and they are not even eligible to be part of the council. We were just waiting for the EGM, for the AGM in March. And the reason why we couldn't hold the AGM is because, unfortunately, the secretariat is weak. They cannot produce their own financial statements. So the responsibility was vested then on the treasurer, who is a member of the council, and then the chairman of the Finance and Administration Committee, also a member of the council, to prepare the financial statements. And to this day, they have not produced it. So obviously, that's why we couldn't hold the AGM that was officially slated for March of this year. So now we'll have to get other council members working with me to sit down, prepare those financial statements, then we invite auditors to audit them, because we cannot pay others to do the financial statements for us. We're accountants. We cannot be paying others to do it for us. And unfortunately, I have to say, individuals who really worked hard to bring JICA to where it is now are not associated with this. And I mean council members who've really worked hard over the years, over the past year. But those who have really been laxed, not performing, not proving themselves, are the ones causing this disruption, because it doesn't make sense to build something so rosy and then you destroy it yourself. And that is exactly what these people are doing. They have not contributed anything apart from just being a council member by name, occupying space, and now causing disruption for no reason, and simply because some of them are running audit practices without fulfilling the requirements of the law and trying to also protect others as well. And everything, Peter, I am saying here this morning in this program is well documented. I have the documentary evidence, and at the right time, I will produce all. Because these are serious allegations, and I don't want our profession to be brought down under my leadership. It can happen if they want it under somebody else's leadership, but not under my leadership.
I'm sure these 6 council members didn't just raise their hands to say, well, I want to be a council member, and they were chosen. I'm sure they were carefully chosen. They must have been, among the best that the country has to offer in terms of accountancy and auditing. How easy will it be to find replacements for them?
To be honest with you, it's not easy to sit here on national radio saying certain things, especially about people who should be colleagues on a board. But the Act is very silent on the requirements of who should be a council member of the Gambia Institute of Chartered Accountants. So which means that if you even qualify today, become a JICA member tomorrow, you can put your name forward, and if you are the most popular, you can be a member.
Oh dear.
Okay? So members really have to vet because, to be very honest with you, when it comes to the technical skills required, strategic management skills and experience, I believe that there could have been a better council than this. There could have been. Because the Act, I believe, whenever it is to be amended, we should look into that to ensure that we have certain criteria before somebody can contest a position on the council to become a member. For example, maybe looking at somebody with maybe 15, 20 years post-qualification experience, because unfortunately, even if some of them have met that criteria, the technical outputs that they're churning out is not what it's supposed to be. And even with this type of behavior, because this is a noble profession, the way that we behave in public, we write, the way we carry ourselves, it all counts. And behaving like this, the profession has never been so low, but we will recover from this. Without a doubt, the disciplinary hearing will resolve it, and then we can move on. But the vast majority of our professional members are exemplary individuals who respect the law and wants the profession to be up there where it should be.
How long will the disciplinary process last?
Well, we're just waiting for the Gambia Bar Association to provide us with a counsel who will be the legal advisor to the hearing process. And then there will be 5 senior members of the profession who will be sitting in the committee to decide. So it can last between a day or two. Oh. It shouldn't last long.
And how much damage has it caused, JICA? Reputational damage or whatever?
Well, there's a risk of reputational damage because if somebody does not read through to know the facts and to be provided with the information, it can cause a damage. But the biggest damage is the people who are practicing or issuing audit reports and are not licensed to do that because the risk implications are many. So, because there is a heavy reliance on an audit report, you can then look at it and say, oh yeah, it's true and fair, meaning that everything about the organization, the company is fine, let me invest, not knowing that it was just a shell company or the figures they were reporting were not accurate, you put in your money and everything will go bust. That's the risk of getting an unqualified or unregistered auditor. Because not every chartered accountant is eligible to be an auditor. You have to undergo a lot of training until you are qualified to be given the practice certificate. And the problem we have in our profession now, everybody wants to practice. Some of them are working full-time and then wants to be auditing also institutions. Some of them have never been in audit, never. They don't know even how to prepare the working papers, do the audit planning or the audit strategy, and they want to audit. And we cannot allow that to happen. We cannot.
Do you think this is what has caused you, the problems you're currently encountering? You're trying to clean up and you might have stepped on toes while doing that? Not might, you definitely would have stepped on toes.
Of course, I stepped on toes and I touched some live wires which shouldn't have been touched, certainly. But if we want a credible profession, a profession in which every audit report issued by a Gambian registered audit firm will be recognized and not questioned by the World Bank, the IMF, Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, that's BADIA, ISDB, ADB, and so on. That's what we want, and other multinational companies. But if we have such type of behavior within our profession, certainly Gambia will not be taken seriously. And what may happen will be that you'll have foreign auditors coming to be doing our work, and we cannot allow that to happen. So we better deal with the problem now before it is too late. It is unfortunate that I'm taking the hit. Some wrong headlines, misleading headlines against me in the newspapers, but we'll correct it.
We'll
definitely correct it.
All that is based on the information, that was fed to these institutions. And how did they have access to the JICA letterhead, maybe to to do their press release and send to the media houses so that it looks authentic.
Yeah, it's not authentic. You can see that I issued some correspondence using the JICA letterhead. If you see the letterhead that I use as the president and the letterhead the secretary uses is completely different. The one they're using is completely outdated, and they got it illegitimately, maybe through the help of somebody at the secretariat, possibly, I don't know where, and they have been writing to newspapers, even to a bank, and other institutions as well. So even I've mentioned about issuing or attempting to issue audit practice certificates and undermining the council's process for audit firms to regularize their registration status. They've committed some more illegal activities, like using our letterhead, writing in the name of JICA, purporting to represent JICA when they are not official representatives of JICA. Because somebody who is on suspension as per Section 14 of the Act, somebody who is to undergo a disciplinary hearing as per the directives of the ministry, they cannot write to any institution. They cannot represent the institution. And that's what they're doing.
So the ministry does not endorse this. How about the World Bank and the other multilateral agencies you cited earlier? How are they following these developments?
Well, I've not got a feedback from them yet, but once they know, I believe they will really express their dissatisfaction, obviously, because we should regulate ourselves even before the ministry was to get involved. We should regulate ourselves. But if we have some of our members who don't want to be regulated, supported by others behind it, certainly things will just go, get completely messed up. And we hope that it is resolved as quickly as possible. One thing I can assure you, though, is that these 6 individuals, namely Usman Dabo, the council vice president, Augustus Prom Jr., Lamin Dabo, Lamin Jata of Accord Associates, Lamin Fofana of SDF, Aissatou Damfa, they will not get away with this. They will not. And they're the individuals, concerned. And Mata Cham of AA and Co., they cannot. I don't know who is supporting them, who is backing them, but they just cannot. Because
do you suspect any person or institution?
I cannot tell, but for these individuals, I can really say a lot because they've been corresponding with me. Well, it's a one-way correspondence anyway. I've not been replying to their letters, but I know that
is that why they moved to impeach you? That they've been writing to you and you've not been responding as their president?
No, not that exactly. Because it was made very clear to them that they have broken a lot of our regulations and the rules, and they will have to wait until we have an AGM, and then the matter will be resolved at that AGM. And writing to institutions without authorization and convening illegitimate council meetings. So the matter had to be escalated.
So these are the charges they face?
Yeah, obviously to the ministry. And to avoid the disciplinary process taking place, they move further with other individuals. And those other individuals are also issuing audit reports for these FX bureaus and so on. And they're not licensed. So coming together, the best way was to convene an EGM, illegal EGM, to get somebody with an impressive performance to be removed.
How much is this, an issue of maybe the president not connecting with, his colleagues on council, and even worse with, staff in the secretariat? Because if people can just go to the secretariat and say, well, print this, and they don't even pick up the telephone to say, Mr. President, well, there's this impeachment notice that we are being asked to put on the association letterhead and sent to the media houses. I mean, how do you relate to fellow members, in the association the council as well as the secretariat?
Well, with JICA, everything was working fine until this regulatory issue came up. But everything was fine. Everything was fine until this regulatory issue came up.
And you decided to be very strict about the regulation?
No, it has to be. Otherwise, we are just like working on a time bomb. It had to be done. And then a timeline was given. This process started in November of last year, informing the necessary parties to regularize their status. And they've been resisting. Some of them, they were resisting, but eventually realized that they were on the wrong side of the law, a major audit firm, and they decided to regularize. So they're out of it. They are law-abiding. But the others feel that they can just take the law into their own hands, do whatever they want, and then it has brought us to this situation. So everything was okay. I mean, it was a cohesive team working very well. But except this matter, that's when the division came. But apart from that, it was a unified council moving on, even though if they had their own flaws or weaknesses and so on, we were able to move along. But this is something we cannot compromise. Right. It cannot be.
Somehow, I mean, your work has been disrupted. What assurances can you give institutions, especially multilateral, organizations, about the accounting, auditing business, being in very capable and safe hands, and that they have nothing to worry about?
Well, certainly, anybody who knows me as a practicing auditor for an international audit firm in this country, which is Next CPS Consulting, our reputation, we are known to be of high standard, good quality. And the stance I am taking to ensure that the profession is properly regulated, I think that is enough, together with the fact that the vast majority of our members are not siding with these 6 individuals. So it's to deal with them. The process of dealing with it has started. And once we complete that, we'll get, hopefully, their replacement in the council and move on. But generally, the entire profession is not compromised. There were attempts, and they've been stopped. So therefore, the profession will continue to represent and protect the public interest. And that is what I'm fighting here for, to represent the public interest, which is a requirement in the Financial Reporting Act of 2013. And in protecting that public interest, the financial institutions that we have here locally, together with the foreign direct investors, potential foreign investors, and our existing multinational partners, it is to protect that foreign public interest. That's why I am in this position, but it is worthwhile to be in this difficult position, and then we'll deal with this. So therefore, the profession is well managed, well regulated, and whoever is not aligning him or herself with the law will definitely face the consequences in accordance with the law.
Paul, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Paul Gaye, President of the Gambia Institute of Chartered Accountants.
JAR Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. JAR Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suede.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Accina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bisul mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.